Turtles, heroes in a half shell. Turtle power.
Welcome back to the Tide Hero Hanger. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about the JoyToy Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. These are the first 4 that they are coming out with. These are not available in the US. You have to import them or buy them from somebody who has imported them. So going straight to Gundam It is how I got them. Gundam It is Shozi store, so you just log in with your Shozi stuff. And also, the TH Reviewer code helps the channel out if you put that in the Support Your Viewer in the Gundam It or Shozi store. Now, I'm going to have links where you can get these, but they're like 33 bucks a piece. They're 1/18th scale, meaning that they are 3.75 inch-ish. And I will do some comparisons and all that. As you can see, the size and scale of it in front of the, well, one of these sewer layers here, so you can see that they'll fit, and I'll show that here. But we're going to show everything, every accessory, every plus and minus, every good and bad. And I got to admit, they did some really cool stuff with this line. We'll see it all coming up. All right, here they are in the packaging, and I like the fact that you can actually see the figure. I like the way you can see the accessories. It's got some artwork on it too, so just kind of look at one of these and see what the packaging looks like. Got some Michelangelo on the side and on the back. These are officially licensed, and it says Nickelodeon on it, and some good stuff there. So I guess we could see all of the side art at once, get to kind of see what's going on there. And the back art is all just a little bit different for each one. And they're kind of shrink wrapped, so they all have some shrink wrap around them. Let's grab into these guys and see what's going on. All right, we're going to start here with Leo, and he's probably going to get a little more attention than the rest of them because we'll do like the articulation and stuff with him, and then kind of won't have to do that with the rest of them. So starting out, let's go ahead and hit the articulation with this guy right out of the box. Ball joint on the head, so it goes all the way around. There's no movement in that. Oh no, I popped that off. I'm gonna see how to pop it back on. Yeah, I don't know if the camera's gonna pick up. Tiny little tab that goes into that hole. Man, just doing articulation and I'm already running into problems here. My fault. All right, so you really can't move that or tab it in any other way than that without it falling out. So shoulder goes about to there. Get that elbow pad on there just right. And then you can do a 360 with the arm, but I'm not going to knock the bandana part back off again. The swivel is in the elbow, so it's not a thigh swivel. And then do you get the double joint? I do believe, because I'm looking at this, the way it looks like a double jointed, but with the pad on, that's about as far as I can go. As far as I can go with the pad on. And maybe if I move the pad out of the way, just for the articulation, you can get about like that. Okay, anyway, then you get down here with the hands, and they're on a ball joint. So quite a bit of articulation going on right there. Now getting into the waist, you got torso movement, and it's in the torso, not really the waist. And then it's on a ball joint, so you can move it all around. And this, you have articulation there. That popped off pretty easy and pops back on pretty easy. If you want to pull off some of this accessory stuff, you probably could just disassemble it to pop that off. Leg goes out to about there as a ninja, but with all the other articulation points, you can get them a wider range than just needing this to be at the 90. You can go back to about here and up to about there, and then thigh swivel, knee, and then we have some foot articulation, kind of whatever you would need. Pop that ball joint back on real good, and we can look at a few more things with this guy. All right, looking at Leo, I want to get down here and look at the stylization of it. He is stylized, doesn't look like the classic tuna, and you guys know me. You guys know that I wanted to look as close to the cartoon as possible. That's why I picked NECA over Super 7, and you know I'm turtled out of it, so I've kind of stopped buying even the NECA stuff. But these do look really good. I like kind of the route they went with it and trying to keep them from falling while I'm turning them here. It looks cool. It is interesting. It's different, but it's still classic enough. They are much beefier than the original standard Turtles and any of those other designs. But it still is pretty cool. It's pretty interesting that they went this route with them. And yeah, if you're going to make something different, well, it needs to be different, not more of the same. Now, I'm also starting to wonder if they're going to make a more classic look, like down the road, because you know how they do it with Turtles. They always reissue Turtles over and over in different looks and aesthetics and all that kind of stuff. But with this, you do have some thigh pads right here that they're not molded in. You have a belt that's separate, and you have this, which it is molded in. So that strap is molded in. The back turtle shell looks like it's all part of this upper torso. And then this piece here, I think, is just kind of like glued on. And then, yeah, he's got the elbow pads right here and the knee pads, which I believe are separate also. So if you really, really, really wanted to, you could pull a lot of the excess stuff off and go that route. But let's get into looking at some of these accessories now. We're going to get into a slew of hands here. So let's take off, you should just be able to pop off the punching hand. And we're going to put on, how are we going to do this? So the piece is in here. So we're going to have to take it off of the existing hand. So I'll probably need to get some pliers. Trusty pliers, got it off. And pop it onto whatever hand you want. So I guess we'll do a splayed hand. And I'll pop that all on there and get it on. All right, a little messing around with it. There he is with a splayed hand. If you want to display it like that. And probably the weapon holding hand that I'm going to use. And they do have that ballpoint articulation. So that does make it a little challenge to get on and off. So let me see if I can do this again. What I found was easy to get it off by just pushing in and up. And that keeps the ball joint in the hand. So just got to work with it, not against it. And then just press directly in to get the other one in. And you can be like me and have your two holding hands, because I'm going to get the accessories in there. So what else is there? There's like 2 sets of holding hands, and I really haven't figured out exactly what's different with them. But here they are. I'm not sure if I'm getting enough lighting on them for them to show up. But I mean, that's the other holding hands. I'm going to stick with the ones that I've got. He comes with these really cool slashing. Well, that was some power flickering here in the Midwest. All right, so he has these cool slashing swords with a transparent part to it, so you can show the slashing. All right, and yeah, it looks pretty cool. It's a nice effect if it's something you're gonna do. I'm just probably gonna have them with standard swords, but cool thing to include. I'm wondering if they didn't include stuff like this, would it have a little bit better of a price point? But it is cool. They do have kind of like a nice look, like they're slashing. He has a piece of pizza, and he's got his communicating. So cool stuff. But I'm into the swords. And to round it all off, here he is on his skateboard. Hang 4, dudes! And he's got his swords, which look great, and they'll sheathe in his back, but that's no fun. So let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of these. And I'm probably gonna glue this thing back on, and I'm gonna be more gentle with these going forward. I'll blame myself for this one. If it's a problem on all of them, then it's a problem on all of them. But there goes Leo. Let's look at the rest of these. All right, we're going to be able to move a lot faster on these now since we've gone through all the basics. But here we are with Michelangelo and what he's got going on. Now, the difference is now he does have some different stuff. He's got this on the side, which is different. His pads are the same, but different color. But this sculpted piece on the thigh has what looks like spray can bottles. This belt is still pretty similar, except it waves different. And then he's got a different piece welded into the torso, like a was it an iPad or something? iPhone? And then I guess this thing here is supposed to hold his regular nunchucks, and then we've got the action. They're not really action. They spin, but they don't really spin fast, so not enough really to be an action item. He does come with the skateboard also, and of course all the different crazy hands, the pizza, the communicator, all of that. Would have been nice though with all of this that they could put the communicator in one of their pockets or some place to tab on the communicator. That would have been nice too, but still pretty cool stuff overall. And with that, I think I will display them like this. I mean, you can put the normal boring nunchucks on, or you can put the spinning ones on. And so yeah, I mean, the evolution of what I like here. I like these crazy in-motion action weapons, and I think they'll all be stored with it because it's something they include, and it looks really cool. Let's get on to the next one. All right, here is Donatello, and yeah, he looks pretty good. And as we're going to see here in a little bit, there's slightly different shades of color for each one, which is pretty accurate to how things should go in the TMNT world. And here he comes with his bow that is spinning, mid-air spinning. Generally, when you're spinning a bow like this, you should have a spot for a second hand on there, but I'm not really sure. Anyway, you could have him spinning this up above his head, or spinning it down, okay, up above his head, like that, or down below, like this, or something along those lines. But it's a cool effect. I probably will definitely display it. It actually looks like a whole bunch of the same, like similar stylings to this, except these are bigger, and these are a whole bunch of smaller swirls. Still cool stuff. He does come with this satchel backpack, which looks like you could also store stuff on it. Like his bow could probably fit into that hole right there. But the bow also fits on his back really well. So that's cool. But you can't really store this anywhere that I can see. And some different cues. He's got these like little bags that look like bags of potion or something. It's kind of cool. His chest piece here has a satchel bag or something on there, and you can see the clasp on there. And he has on this side, he has just some satchels kind of things for his thigh, and that's so each one has a little bit different stuff and a little bit different drape to that belt right there. Of course, it says D for Donatello, and just the original staff, which now I think I'm really liking the movement weapons. I think that's what's setting this aside, setting this, I don't know, standing it out for me. So we'll move on to the last one. All right, getting into Raph. Here he is with his motion sai here, and he's like swoosh through this. So you got standard size, the ones with this motion gimmick. I'm not sure if you want this on the bottom or the top. I view it'd be something to be on the bottom, like it's whatever direction it's going on the bottom there. He does have this, which has like some tools. Maybe these are other throwing pieces here. Difference is, of course, the difference in the waviness. He has more of those throwing pieces up top here. And then let's see what else he's got going on the back. He's got spikes, spiky back. And yeah, there he is. This is Raphael's. He does have a little bit of a different look to him. But with that, yeah, there's not a whole lot that's different on him. So let's get into looking at each of these. Then we'll look at the stands that are included. So I'm trying to get them all as a team in one shot here. A little harder than it sounds. But we have different drapes on these here. Each one of their sashes does a little something different. And Leo's kind of just goes to the back. You're not seeing it. And their chest straps are each a little bit different. If I can get them all angled. They're all armored up. I guess I should have done this with no armor on. No weapons on. But we kind of see how we have just little differences in each belt and all that kind of stuff. But with all of that, not a bad looking team overall. And when they're armored up, it's a lot of fun for these figures here. And 1/18th scale. But now let's get into looking at the different various stands that we have. Each come with one of these pieces here. And you just basically see that they're tab, slot. So you just match up the tabs and the slots and put them in. I guess this one will be the hardest and trickiest one. Maybe I should untab that and do half of them at a time. Either way, it's still going to be tricky. And then we have this stand right here. But we also have this stand right here. So there's 4 foot pegs, and then this has a foot peg. So they can either stand on this, or they can stand on that. They can do it all together. That's a stand. I'm not going to use it. I'm using the skateboards because I think it's cool, and they're not all going to just stand in one spot. They're going to be in different places in my display, of course. So next we're going to kind of get into comparisons. I do want to point out how these guys do fit very comfortably inside of the vintage Playmates sewer lair. And something like this, it actually fits them better, in my opinion. Kind of like I felt like because of the whole Best AXNs are smaller, they fit in there better. But this, a vintage turtle layer, you can get a lot more out of it with this scale. Just saying. I'm just pointing it out. All right, here he is kind of stacked up against all of the other competition that's out there. Pretty much all the other 5 companies making turtles right now. Are there 6, 7, 8 companies making it? Anyway, I'm going to do a one at a time. So here goes with these. I can see it looking, it starts to look a little cluttered with too many figures in the way here. But size and scale, it's a little shorter than the original one that was out there. The one from Playmates, but yeah. It's this is a classic. Leo's my favorite. It is what it is. The blue and the swords. Here he is next to the Best AXN, and now the bright green really does stand out on the Best AXN. But hey, it's something different. So like, why have them all exact same color? That's kind of cool that he's bright. Here is next to NECA, and of course I'm the Toon guy, so NECA is my favorite. Out of all of the turtles, if I had to get rid of every turtle, everything, but I could keep one set, it would be NECA. But then again, this is going to fit in with some Joes here in a little bit. We're going to find out. And yeah, there's that. And since the Super 7 and the Playmates, the ones they put out, this was the Cobra Kai version, but this style, they're about the same size. And he does not stand up to save his life. But when I made my comparison video, nobody compared everything on the market at once. But I did, but I didn't have Super 7, so I said Super 7's that size. People told me I was wrong. Okay, I'm wrong by 4%. Anyway, these things are the biggest out there compared to technically what is the smallest. Here's a lineup of very common, widely known toy lines that everybody would have in their collection. So you can see how it would stack up next to Luke Skywalker or a G.I. Joe figure, Zartan, or we have some Robo here, and then we also have Karate 1 for the Bionic 6. Yes. He's a little short for a Stormtrooper, but still, this guy fits in really well with all your 3.75 inch stuff and looks pretty good. And there is scale. He's kind of bulky though. He's a beast. Not quite a Robeast. Alright, so this is my look at the JoyToy Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and they're the 4 main turtles. What do I think of them? I think they're pretty cool. They are stylized, which I prefer everything looking close to cartoon. But since all the stuff I have look cartoon pretty much, this is different for my collection. They do have a lot of accessories, and I at first didn't really care about the slashing, swooping accessories, but I really like it. That's one of my favorite parts about these figures. They are all different. They're not the exact same cookie cutter with just slightly different colors. They have remolded parts of the torso, remolded pieces for their belts, different bandanas. So there's stuff different about them. So they're not all exactly the same, which I think is really cool. I actually didn't look at them that close. I didn't realize how different each one was gonna be. The accessories all work. They all seem to be pretty good. Downside, I don't like the peg on the hands, mostly because the peg that attaches to the hand is bigger than what attaches to the wrist is smaller, so the wrist one always wants to come out. I wish there was some way that the peg would stay in the wrist better, but anyway, still overall pretty cool looking set of figures, and let me know what you think about this. I did get these at Gundam It, which is Show Z, but it's Gundam It, and I'll have a link down below where you can get all 4 of these, put a TH in reviewer code, like, subscribe, put your maker out.
But us, turtles, outcasts of society, why do we have to stand alone against the forces of evil?
Face it, man, it's the only job we're qualified for.
Oh, yeah.